Hello, Guardians, and welcome to Destiny Reset, episode 113. This podcast is about anything and everything related to Destiny the game. If you love playing Destiny as much as we do, you're in the right place. This reset, we took our first crack at the endgame of Destiny 2, as Cyborg tackles the new raid, and AER0KNIGHT gets his first taste of the new Trials of the Nine. Hello, Guardians, and welcome. It's AER0KNIGHT, and here with me, of course, is Cyborg How's it going, buddy?
Hello, AER0KNIGHT. How are you?
I'm excellent.
Happy Monday.
Yeah, happy Monday. We're recording for the first time in a long time. On Monday, the show will go live in like 4 hours. So
after you're done playing Trials again, right?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I was just thinking, I'm like, we got to tell the listeners, like, we've got ourselves a nice predicament here, because of course we want to record the show and talk to them, but it's like we just want to play Destiny 2 some more.
Yeah, this is I remember there was a tweet chain that I was in with some people before Destiny 2 dropped, and the complaint was like that moment when your Destiny podcast gets in the way of playing Destiny.
Right? Yeah. It's like,
and it would be great if we could sit here and play while we record, but you trust us, you don't want to hear controller sticks, and you will hear them. Yep. And there's going to be moments where I'll be talking and I'll finish a sentence and AER0KNIGHT will go, yes,
that's right. He just stopped talking.
It just doesn't work.
Yep. So yeah, we're hoping to fit in a little playtime tonight, even after we record. So, anyways, man, how's your week been? Good.
It's been good. It was a heck of a week. The raid came out. Put a lot of hours into completing that this week. Had a lot of fun, but didn't get a ton of sleep.
Yeah, I know. That's what I was thinking. I'm like, okay, I fit in more playtime this week. It's been a busy month, but it's like, has it been less busy, or did I just sleep less?
Yeah, well, it was, man, I was just thinking about it this evening. Like, the past 2 weeks, the launch schedule has been pretty brutal. With the raid and Trials coming out this weekend, and just trying to pack everything that you want into 2 weeks is just a lot of playtime.
Yep.
No complaint. I had an awesome time doing it, but I'm like trying to come up for air,
Yep. I completely understand.
Anyways, but let's get the show on the road. We got plenty to talk about, as we just mentioned, of fun new stuff that we've gotten into this week. So we got some announcements this week, man.
We do. Wanted to remind everybody real quick, this weekend, as you're hearing this Friday, Saturday, and Sunday is the Dirt Fam reunion. You can still come, everybody.
AKA the Midwest Meetup, right?
Yes, the Midwest Meetup. Last year we coined it as the Dirt Fam reunion.
Yeah.
But yes, Midwest Meetup. It's in Sedalia, Missouri. If you have any questions or think you might be able to make it, message Scoreo70, SCOREO70 on Discord. We can let you know what you need to know to get there. A lot of people are showing up Saturday. If you want to just come for a day or stay one night, he's nice enough to welcome his home for us to hang out. We're gonna have a nice Destiny 2 LAN party, I'm sure. So
nice.
Anyways, yes, so come hang out if you can. And that's pretty much it. What do you got, man?
I'm gonna be jealous. I hope y'all have fun.
We'll have to FaceTime you like we did last year.
Oh, we did do that. Yeah. You definitely need to FaceTime me. Second order of business. We had originally planned, as we've talked about over the past 3 or 4 weeks, for the Fight the Flood charity stream to come back, and it was originally scheduled to happen this weekend. Unfortunately, there's some circumstances preventing that from going on in a successful fashion. So we are going to try to continue with the event, but I think we're going to pick a new date and reschedule it.
Yes.
So we can make sure it is successful.
Yes.
So if you're planning to be there and watch that or participate, we're sorry to disappoint, but it's still, the show will go on. Don't worry.
Yes.
We just want to make sure it happens and it happens right. and it's done well. So stay tuned, keep an eye on Twitter, and listen to the show, and we'll let you know as soon as we've got that date picked.
Excellent.
All right. News. Ready for some news?
Yes, ready for some news. I'm really ready for reset because I got some.
I know.
This week,
There's plenty of stuff to
news.
So much to say. This week at Bungie, they crowned a new raid champion. Unfortunately, it wasn't my team. Right. But the legend himself, SC Slayerage, you probably know this guy from all of his antics over the past few years doing, solo, duo, trio raid clears and just all kinds of wacky hijinks. But, well, he actually got into the race and won this year. So congrats to his clan, the legend himself.
Congratulations.
I think they completed I think it was sometime between like 5 and 6 hours, if I believe. I have to go check.
Dude, I was at work watching you, Gathalion, one other, and it's like I was just going back and forth just to see where people were. And then I just got a message from Terry. It's like, or actually, I think it was my cousin that Slayer Age won, and it's like, okay, it's done.
Man, and they plowed through that thing, so I got to give them props for the pace that they were able to complete that. So
it's unbelievable. Yeah.
Yep.
Very cool.
Moving on, we had a little teaser for Trials of the Nine, which launched Friday afternoon, morning, whatever you want to call it.
I think we would expect these teasers at this point, but I was just I was like, oh, cool, Trials teaser. And
it's a really teaser, but it's not much of a teaser, right?
Right, yeah. It's just like, hey, it's starting.
A promotional thing.
The art style that they went with, it just kind of like totally random to me,
too. It is so out there. We'll talk about that.
Yeah.
Some interesting stuff. I love it. It's really cool, but it's off the wall, man. So Trials went live this Friday. That's been going on all weekend. We're going to talk some about that. Moving on, they talked a little bit about matchmaking and the algorithm they use for matchmaking in the Crucible. Notably, they feel that the quick play algorithm is working as hoped. However, in competitive, it seems that there's some kind of bug. And essentially what's happening is, for some, you're either getting matched with players way above or way below your skill level in competitive, where it should be a much more, closer matches, much more evenly matched, more sweaty, but that's the point.
Right.
So they're going to be working on, did they say if they actually, they said they are applying that fix right now. So this is as of Thursday on the weekly update. So there should already be some changes to that tuning live. So when Trials is over and everybody goes back to regular Crucible, take note of competitive.
They still feel like Trials.
Yeah, that might be the case. Yeah. And then this was pretty cool. There's a new PvP map in the raid's space, or set in the raid space, called Emperor's Respite. And that Crucible map went live after the first raid clear. Have you played this map yet?
No, I have not.
Okay, I haven't got it to pop up, although I haven't played any normal Crucible this week. Right. But friends that were told me that it's heavily weighted to come up in the playlists. So you'll see it often. I got to check this out, though.
Yeah, same here. We'll get into it, but the look at the raid and everything, the map, it's going to be amazing.
Yeah, it's a very, very cool art style again. They talked some about clans and Guarded Games beta. So the Guarded Games beta is in session, right?
Yes, Guarded Games beta is in session. It's like I want to say still right now it's 30 to 50% of Guardians.
Player base.
Yes, player base are able to do it. I think you have to have like
and this is just for the Nightfall right now, right?
Yes. Yeah. And I think the September 26th is when it's supposed to fully go live, which we can take this opportunity. We learned this week. Thank you, Cam. And we also got an email from someone in the Derp fam. Thank you for that. We learned that if our clan is max members that we can no longer participate in guided games because we do not have room to take on new members. So we very quickly decided we were going to not let our clans hit the 100 max. We're gonna keep
because we do want to participate in that. Yeah.
Yes. So, but that's an interesting tidbit.
I think on the 26th we will be allowed to have guided games for the raid as well.
Yes.
So it will include
really cool.
the raid and the Nightfall, and it will be for all players available by the 26th.
Yeah. I think it's neat. Like, we can utilize that. Shout out to Tro Daddy 84. That was the email we got. Also, him and Cam. But thank you guys for the feedback so quick to let us know that's going on. Mm-hmm. I think it's neat that like you can just get on, because I'm pretty sure I heard Cam Pike's doing that. Like, you just get on and be like, you know what, let's go do some guided games. Bring some people in and show them the Derp fam and just have some fun. That's kind of just a neat thing you can set out to do one night in your play session, you know?
Yeah, it is. It is pretty cool. I was talking with some people and talking about setting aside time every week to try to do that.
Really neat. Mm-hmm.
Get people through different activities. It'd be fun. So, moving on, interesting occurrence here, that a connection was made between a piece of gear in the game and a hate symbol.
Right. Yeah.
I know. I mean, I had seen this armor and didn't even think to make that connection.
Yeah.
But it was a pair of hunter arms, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So
they had to you go ahead. Tell us the story.
Yeah, I think so how in whatever fashion they were made of wear, they made it clear that it was unintentional. Mm. And they removed that element from the piece of armor.
Yeah, it was a whole little undertone, like people wondered if somehow a member of the team or something like tried to sneak it in the game, and they were very clear that that was not the case. Just complete oversight.
Yeah, the design elements that are there are elements that are used in a lot of the other stuff in the game, like chevrons and bars, and like if you've ever looked into like some of the design principles that they use in the game, they pretty straightforwardly try to stay away from real world iconography. Mm-hmm. So they try to create their own type of iconography that's sensitive in a way that, you know, it doesn't clash with other cultures. Like the amount of logos and like designs that you have to have in this game, you know, you can't replicate real world stuff, because to one man a X may mean one thing and to another it may mean something completely different, right? So they use like very common stuff, like you might see like chevrons and bars and lines and circles and geometric stuff. That's why you see a lot of really crazy geometric designs in the game. Mm-hmm. So I don't believe at all that this was intentional. I think it was just the fact that if you make enough things, eventually maybe one thing will look like something it's not supposed to.
It makes you really think, like when they're making something, you know, a project this large with this much art in it, like how this doesn't happen. It reminds me of, you know, like you're listening to a song and it sounds familiar. It sounds like an old song or something. Mm-hmm. How do they not accidentally recreate the same sounding song?
Right.
You know,
well, it's that old adage, there's nothing new under the sun, right?
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Eventually things can be similar. And I do like that they, their response to this was quick. I think the response was appropriate, and they explained in depth how this happened. You know, what are they doing to ensure it doesn't happen? And I was surprised to see they actually have a team in place that reviews content for cultural, geographical, and other sensitive issues. Yeah. Makes total sense, but they were somehow, you know, not able to see this connection, or decided that it was not impactful enough. But either way, They it seems like this is at least somewhat of an apology, and
yes.
Anyways,
Good
so
job,
that
Reggie.
was a thing.
Good job cleaning that up. It was actually funny. I was playing with my cousin yesterday, and he's like, actually, it might have been earlier in the week, and he's getting back into Destiny, and he's like, dude, what is going on? My legs are not what they say they should be. I'm looking at my character, and then when I look at it in game, it's not the same. And I actually didn't put it together until we all started talking about it in our fire team. But of course, they redid that entire armor set, and it's like, oh, it's that set. Okay, yep, that makes sense.
So they did the whole set.
Yeah,
that's
because
it had that on other stuff too.
Yeah. So like his legs weren't showing properly in game yet. They were like a generic piece of leg armor now.
Gotcha.
So, yep.
Yeah, it does mention here like they already had maintenance up, so they changed the in-game images, and then in the patch that they had, or they're going to have another patch that will remove the design from the UI icon and preview screens.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah. Of all the different things they have to think about. Here's another one.
Intense, man.
Yep.
But moving on. What else did they talk about this week?
Your favorite section.
Destiny player support. What's up, Doc? So they mentioned that Destiny update 1.0.1.3 was planned. That did roll out. So we had a hot fix. And man, I had to realize, the numbers they've restarted.
Right.
For 3 years, we were slowly getting higher and higher. I'm surprised it's not like 2.0, but it's a different game client. It's not how it works. It starts with 1.0. They fixed a few minor things in that patch that dropped. One thing was impactful, that the prism modifier, which is basically a modifier that rotates the elemental burn in an activity, and this was on the Nightfall last week and this week. And what would happen was the burn would change and it would flash on the screen, but it wouldn't stay on the screen, so you would know. Mm-hmm. So like if you missed it, or you were, let's say 60 seconds go by and you were, engaging enemies, and then you stopped to look and you missed the warning, you wouldn't know what element to use. So you'd have to wait until it cycled again to get on the right page. So they fixed that issue, and now it remains on the screen. And there's actually like some other audio and visual cues when it changes, which is definitely helpful.
Yeah, for sure.
Beyond that, just some other minor tweaks and changes. Nothing crazy. Something in the raid where Wardcliff Coil did an unintended amount of damage. I was told was pretty OP. There are some error codes for cabbage, which is when a router setting blocks communications to your firm Destiny service. They explain instructions how to fix that if you're having that error. Go check out a support article on that. And then they had the movies of the week.
Yes, I have not watched any of these this week, man.
I haven't either. I got to get caught up.
Yeah. I'm actually, it reminded me, there's a couple little, like, very minor tweaks I'm toying with on the Derp Fam, I am Derp Fam Derptosh. Like a couple little just subtle things I'm thinking about adding to it, and then I may submit it to the community thing just for fun, even though we're now into Destiny 2, but I'll keep you posted on that.
Nice, man. Do it.
Yes.
The definitive edition.
Yes.
Right.
So
that'd be cool. Well, that's all the news this week.
You know what it's time for, Cyborg?
What is it?
How was your reset, buddy?
You always have to have this pause.
I know. I love it. You know that. Pregnant pause. And you got to go first because
dude, my reset
you
was
dove in to the
long.
First thing that released this week.
I feel like I played 3 weeks of games in 1 week. So Tuesday, I fit all of the milestones in that I could because I was trying to buff my character's power level as much as possible. So, I did the Nightfall and just all the different little things. knocked all that stuff out Tuesday night, and then got up Wednesday morning, ate some breakfast, put a bunch of energy drinks in an ice chest and brought it to the office, and we queued up the raid at 12 p.m. Central. Shout out to all of my team who performed admirably. You guys know who you are. You were a great team to raid with. Solid bunch of dudes.
Very cool.
I think we did pretty well. We got to one particular encounter that really hemmed us up. It's a encounter that we'll say involves stealth and or navigation and execution of a lot of different mechanics, and things can go wrong just through chance. And
you're gonna wait a couple weeks before we dive into the.
Yeah, I'm not going to talk specifics about the raid for those of you who have not finished it or are trying to finish it blind. I know
hopefully
it's a small
give
number,
me time
but
to get in.
yeah, we're not going to talk too in depth about the raid this week, although it would be a very topical thing to do. I want to give it a little time.
Yes.
Either way, if we got stuck on that one part, it took us 5 hours to get out of there. But I got to say, I was very proud of my team. We did not give up. Nobody got too heated or frustrated. We hung in there and knocked it out and got the heck out of that encounter.
Very cool.
We all hate it now. But so then at that point, the world's first competition was over, and we decided, okay, well, let's all take 2 or 3 hours. We can eat dinner, see our kids, put them to bed, etc. So we did that, jumped back on, and spent a bunch of time exploring and doing some different things. Did one more of the encounters that was following the previous one, and got to the final raid encounter / boss. And then one of our teammates had to go to bed for work the next day, so we left it there. And we picked up on that in the weekend, and we finally finished it last night, 2 a.m.
Awesome.
I think we spent about 24 hours in the raid this week.
Wow.
It was a slog, dude. But my overall take on the raid, it's visually completely new and original, something the environments and the encounters are so just striking, strikingly different, beautiful, just awesome design as visually speaking, mechanically speaking, and as far as what you're facing, it's got the raid team behind King's Fall, like their fingerprints are all over it. There's a lot of things that are very, very reminiscent of other types of activities where you could say, okay, this is the analog to this encounter in this raid, etc. There's some vaulted glass touches on there. There's some King's Fall touches in there. So it was interesting. I don't know if I wouldn't call it derivative. It's just very much the language that we're used to them using in those raids, like the type of encounter or mechanic that you're familiar with if you've done those raids, but presented in a wholly original scenario. I do have to just give them props on just the creativity of the entire thing is totally not what I expected. And it's fun. It's challenging. It's definitely a new level of difficulty, I think, for raids. One, because of the death mechanic in the normal raid now, which we didn't even anticipate this being a thing. But in the normal mode raid, you don't get unlimited revives anymore. You have, each person has one revive token per encounter. And so you get to res somebody once. And so that's what you get for the whole encounter. So if somebody dies multiple times, you know, a different teammate has to get them up. Sometimes if you're split up and people are dying, you can't res them. And the downside of this is not just a person being down, but there's also a countdown timer where if someone dies, if you don't get them up within 30 seconds, it wipes the encounter.
Oh, wow.
So my take is that they have intentionally increased the level of difficulty for the raid through this mechanic, almost to a blend between what used to be normal and heroic. And I think that was meant to increase that level of difficulty in a way that we've asked for in the past. You know, there is a smaller subset of players that just want harder and harder stuff to do.
Right.
And I see this and the Nightfall as being part of that design choice in Destiny 2, that there is much more difficult content. And I am very interested to see how they make the prestige level, which is, I guess, what it's going to be called now.
Yeah.
How they're going to make that harder. Because they did say that not being able to res people is not going to be part of the mechanics in hard mode anymore. So if that's the case, there's going to be some much different elements at play. And I think it's going to be a lot harder than we've ever seen in the past.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I wonder when they'll announce that too. The hard prestige mode.
Yeah, when they put out that content map for the month, they kind of teased that October we would see something prestige raid, like it was a play on words that Deej used. So
yeah, because we know they did basically say Iron Banner we'll see in October, right? So
yeah, and I would expect the hard mode to drop in October too. So
yeah. I mean, before we know it, you know, you think about it, it's like, what are they gonna do on the timing with all this? But I mean, before we know it, we'll be at the first expansion. You know? Just like
the other thing I think that makes raiding more challenging in Destiny 2 is your ability or disability to take out ads. Ads being like, you know, a MMO term for, you know, just random mobs of enemies. Mobs of enemies are much more threatening than they used to be. And you're going to see a lot of orange bars, that are a lot more challenging to take down. And a lot of the time you have to conserve your heavy ammo or your power ammo for when you need it. So, having to attack those with, you know, an energy weapon or a kinetic weapon can be time consuming. You've got to use teamwork. You got to team up on these guys, and a death is a bigger deal. And so that adds another layer of difficulty where, you know, ads were sometimes felt, you know, in other raids like just an annoyance or filler. And these raids, they can wipe the whole encounter if one ad just kicks your butt, you know?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So it was challenging. I liked it. I enjoyed it, but, I think that raiding is becoming more difficult, and it's gonna be a bigger challenge for some folks than, they have in the past. It's not going to be as casual of an activity as it could have been in the past, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, you guys did the ultimate too. You did YouTube videos of the encounters and stuff.
Right. Yeah.
You went in.
Yeah. However, full disclosure, we got through the first 3 encounters without, looking anything up, you know, without any outside help. But for the last encounter, we did swap one person out because one of our guys couldn't be there this weekend. and he had done some of it. And so he was able to show us through the ropes. Like, he saved us a lot of time and banging our head against the wall. And then talking with other folks, like, because we were at a point where it's like either we want to finish it, or do we just go bang our head against the wall for a while? And we decided we with how hard it was, that we would rather finish it this week.
Yeah, for sure. So, yeah. I realized last week, I was like, I was getting so amped up, dude, to watch the race, and it's like, I knew my light level wasn't going to be there. And I mentioned on the show last week, I'm like, all right, for this one, maybe the next raid we get on whatever expansion DLC, but I'm like, I just realized how much I love watching the race, and my light level wasn't even close, and it wasn't going to be. I mean, I'm still setting it. I'm not even quite 270 yet. Luckily, I met the trials requirement, and I'm like, dude, as much as I want to do a blind raid, I love to watch this just transpire throughout the day when the raids release. It just becomes such a thing, Yeah,
it's definitely a big occasion,
Yeah, very cool. It was just neat. I kind of, just had some stuff up here and there at work, and like I said, it was cool to be able to watch you guys attempt it and just kind of dropping back and forth to see where other people in the community were, and it's exciting, man. It's really cool. It's a fun aspect for everybody involved.
It was a lot of fun. It's a fun thing to take part in if you can. I know a lot of people couldn't, and I'm sad that it came out in the middle of the week, and it definitely reduced who could get into it at the beginning. But at
least they gave us 2 resets for people that wanted to attempt it to try to get there. Yeah,
definitely. So that was a large majority of my reset. I did manage to sneak in some trials, which we'll talk about,
nice.
Which I'm sure you want to talk about. And then I also was able to at least start my second character. I started a Titan, and
very cool.
I just have to say, man, so I've been playing on a Warlock the past 2 weeks, and I talked about how, the jump issue is not as bad as I perceived it to be from the beta. But I have to say, after playing on this Titan through, I'm on the, last third probably of the campaign. It is such a different game with a functional, powerful jump. Like, the Titan can jump good, so much higher, so much faster. It's just more fun. Like, that's just the long and the short of it. Like, I'm just having more fun because I can get to where I want to go in an efficient manner. And you keep moving fast, and you can just get there. You can get where you want to go without a lot of frustration. As a Warlock, you're like always coming in behind everybody because it just takes you longer to get places. It's annoying.
Yeah, the Titan still feels great, man.
And I know a lot of people, they're really loving Warlocks right now, and they're very, very functional for a lot of the in-game activities. But man, I got Striker unlocked, and I was playing on that. It's just so much fun, dude. It's so much fun. So I'm definitely looking forward to having like one of each character in Destiny 2 and being able to play on all of them. I'm hoping to get the Striker up to the in-game activities this week, so I can start doing some other, Nightfalls and all the fun stuff on him too.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.
So that was my reset, man.
Dude, as you were talking right there, I just got a message from Terry in Discord letting me know that our clan raid group just got through the raid, that I have an emblem that I can go, or a engram that I can go.
Oh, nice. Yeah. So that's a thing. If you're in a clan, you can get in-game style rewards from trials and the raid.
Yes.
If somebody in your clan is able to either get 7 wins or to complete the raid. Only downside though is that those items, they only drop at 10 light.
Right. Yeah, so, which is fine. Right.
Yeah. They don't, you don't progress, but you can get some cool loot.
Yeah. I actually got the, our clan had made it to the Spire, if you will, Friday. And I had engram waiting for me, and I got the trials sniper before, like, it's like, oh, sweet. It's just cool to know, like, every weekend, I mean, I'll be playing trials, and it's neat to know that, like, if a fire team hasn't yet in our clan, by the end of the weekend, if we make it to the lighthouse or the spire, like, we'll be giving some trials loot, helping our clan get some trials loot, that may not even jump in or be able to jump in that weekend.
How do you feel about that, though? Because people have been kind of on the fence about getting raid gear or getting trials gear. And let's imagine you're a player, and nothing wrong with if they can't or don't want to participate in that, but them being able to get all that gear, and maybe you can infuse it up. And so you could potentially have like a fully kitted, outfitted Guardian with trials and raid gear eventually, if you can get the drops, and never have even done the activity.
Yep. That was when we were chatting.
That sort of strange?
Yeah. It is weird. Like, we were chatting back and forth in Discord in one of our channels, and my initial thought was that exactly. Like, it's really weird to me that you can never run the raid and be running around in a full set of raid gear. But like, my immediate afterthought is, and it almost seems a little different for me with trials, maybe, than the raid. Like, to me, it's kind of neat that, because trials is so daunting for some people, to jump in, or they just, they don't. It's not their thing, or they don't feel super comfortable in PvP, and it's neat that they can experience some of those trials weapons, and/or gear, by their clan mates, playing and contributing to different activities. So I don't know, man. Like I said, initially my thought was what you were just saying.
I think that seems that's obviously the intent is for a more casual player, or a casual that does, or excuse me, or a player that doesn't want to participate in those activities, to not wholly miss out on what those rewards might be. But I just think to Destiny 1 years 1 through 3, and part of being able to complete those things was being able to wear the gear and have some pride about it.
Yes.
Like, if you got your flawless ornaments when those came out, or if you had a full set of vaulted glass gear in year 1, and how, like, if you saw somebody walking in the tower, you were like, whoa, like, they got the whole thing. Like, they really worked their butt off and raided, and like, they've got to be an accomplished player. That's going to be gone. Like, there is no, there are very few things in the game now, that can differentiate you, that is obviously like a legitimate, milestone or something that you can show off.
I think they almost need a happy medium, like, it's weird, trials, when you get to the spire, it's going to be hard for me to get used to that, but there's no like, adept type weapons, I feel like they almost need a happy medium. I love what they've done with the clan stuff. I love knowing that when we play on the weekends, we're going to help our clan get some stuff. And I really think, like, you're hitting on something too. Like, they need something for the players that do actually play the activities, to show that they played the activities. I don't know if that's another set of gear that's, I think that maybe the hard mode and the idea, the prestige mode and stuff will.
I think the idea of having rewards for your clan for completing in-game activities is pretty cool. Like, it felt great that we completed the final encounter last night, and it unlocked a reward for the entire clan. For 80 plus people were able to go and get something. Like, that was a cool feeling that you were able to contribute that and unlock that. But when it takes away, it's the whole thing about everybody having a trophy, right? If everybody gets a participation trophy, like, there's nothing unique or special about it. There's no real reward. And if it were me, what I would do is have that engram there, have it, if you have not completed that activity, have it reward you a powerful gear, engram. So something that would help you progress, but just have it pull from the legendary pool. And then also in the engram, give you reputation tokens for that vendor. So that if you do go play that activity, you got something extra. because both of those activities, the raid and trials, have a reputation vendor that you can turn in tokens for to get extra gear. So if you got, 5 or 10 or whatever reputation tokens from, the clan engram, then you would still get something, but only if you went and ventured out and gave it a shot. And all you have to do for trials is get one win to get to the spire. Like, get there. Yeah, it's not that
it's different too.
It's not that hard.
Right.
Like, you can get lucky and get there.
I think there's a happy medium. Like I said, I love to contribute to rewards for my clan. I think, if it wasn't trials weapons and you were just getting the equivalent of a crucible package engram for us, getting to the lighthouse or the spire in trials, it's like, that's pretty good deal. Like, you didn't play at all and you're still getting a drop. So I don't know. I think there's definitely maybe some adjustments that could be made there, but all in all, I mean, the clan stuff is pretty cool, dude.
Yeah, like, and it's a new system. Really neat. We can't expect it to be perfect out of the gate.
That was a curveball, though. I mean, because my initial response was like yours. I was like, wow, that's weird. So I can never run the raid and I'll have a full set?
Yeah.
I don't know what it is about the raid that seems different than trials to me. Like, getting a trials weapon for not running trials seems kind of cool, but getting like a full set of the raid gear and never running the raid, those two things for some reason just seem different to me. I don't know why. Like, it seems, I don't know what it is. The raid trials isn't easy by any means, but you kind of just get crucible drops in trials.
Well, yeah, and we got used to, the bounties that they had for a while,
so
that
you can
complete
get stuff
and get stuff.
Whereas the raid, I don't know, it's kind of like, it's the raid, it's not that one or the other is any less difficult or less important. It's
just always been the epitome of in-game content, Destiny. So I just think it's unfortunate that they made that choice, and I'm not going to be like super salty about it. It's just not. I don't think it was well thought out.
And maybe like I was going to say, I mean, there's really nothing they can do for trials, but maybe like the prestige mode of the raid, like you will only be able to get that gear from running that.
Yeah, we haven't seen what'll be there, and that might be, a version of that. I do believe, and I haven't looked into this thoroughly, but I do believe that you get different gear if you get flawless trials.
I'm not 100% on that yet.
I read a thread, and Triple Wreck had gotten there, and he said that it looked like, because we hadn't seen it all, but the stuff did look slightly different, and so it may be similar to the adept guns that they got and stuff like that.
I hope so.
If that's the case, that might make me feel a little bit better about that for trials. And then you bring up a good point. If they have some prestige level gear that's unique, that you can only get there, I'll feel a lot better about that.
Yeah. So it kind of gives us the best of both worlds. We can let our clan get some of the cool raid and trials gear, but then we also will do the hard modes. And
no, let's just wait it out. We'll wait it out and see. Let's be patient. Give them a chance to, this is something else I was thinking about this week is, we're starting to see reviews on Destiny, and people are starting to formulate opinions, and I'm sitting back thinking, everything hasn't quite unfolded yet. Like, there's content that we just got this weekend that has still to be played. Trials and the raid, and there's still the prestige raid, and there's Iron Banner coming. Like,
game to try to review.
Yeah. I think it's a little early to be making final opinions on the game when you haven't played all the game yet.
Right.
But that's a whole different conversation. We won't go there. Maybe in a month or so we'll talk about that in depth.
Yeah. Well, we can cover Arrow's lovely reset. I fit in some time this week, man. I had, like I said, I don't know if I slept less or I don't even know, but I fit in some time.
You made it work, right?
Yeah, I'm still doing that light power level grind. But dude, I just like as some quick nods. I got my kill tracker ghost. That thing's cool, dude. I had had a moment where I didn't think that I had it, and then I'm like, I like tweeted out like, why does Shax not have my Kill Tracker Ghost, and then I realized I was a total noob. I still had another code on my receipt that I hadn't input to the PlayStation Store yet.
Oh, yeah.
But so anyways, dude, that thing in the Cold Heart, like the Cold Heart's a pretty cool exotic. Like I haven't used it since I've leveled up some, but it's neat to use in PvE, man.
Yeah.
I've heard it's fun in PvP just to goof around with, but it's just kind of a neat gun. I remember, when they were talking about it, a little behind the scenes, I think on IGN's exotic thing, like how it was a challenge for them to create that weapon with like the laser beam and how you code something like that. And this or that, but man, it's a cool weapon to use and just get a constant headshot on some enemies in PvE. Yeah, it's like a solid stream.
It's fun to use, and it's got its own difficulty and trying to maximize its use.
Yeah, for sure. I also, dude, very early on last week, I got this Hake sniper called the Valeta D, and as soon as I got it, man, it had quick draw, this or that, and I'm like, ooh, this thing looks like it might be good, and it's fantastic. I think what I've landed on so far this week as far as snipers go, because snipers are still a topic on using them as a power weapon, and I've actually it's been pretty fun using them so far. Like I haven't felt too out of competition too much with people using rocket launchers and stuff if you keep your distance. But that thing in the Trials sniper, that's what I got for my clan reward for the Trials Ingram. Like those two snipers are pretty fantastic.
I actually used the Trials sniper in the raid after I got it, because it's like that very high impact.
Yep.
It does some work.
What this Hake one is too. Yep. And I'll get into the look of those weapons here in a minute, dude. They're so beautiful.
Yeah.
But dude, I played some competitive. I just did the light power grind. I keep saying light power level grind this week. I did a bunch of public events.
Continuous problem.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, right. Yeah, it's gonna keep. It's like I've already done it like 5 times. The Spire and the Lighthouse. But anyways, yeah, just light power level grinds, like public events, did all my milestones, did this or that. I hit like 240, kind of like hit a little wall, and then I kind of just powered through that.
Yeah, you kind of it slows down for just a little bit there.
Yeah,
between 240 and like 250 something.
Yeah, it's fun, just those milestones. Like it didn't even fully register. Like we already knew that bounties and stuff are gone, but it's neat to get those milestones. Of course, I'm hunting the powerful engrams because that'll keep me going. And like I said, I'm pushing 270 now. But I had the rolling into the Trials talk. Like Trials launched Friday, and then we learned very quickly. I was still sitting at 240. Like we learned, right away that you had to complete the Call to Arms milestone, which I hadn't done yet. I was about halfway through the second part of that, which is a good many games before you complete that.
Yeah. I think you've got to do like at least 10.
Yeah, at least. Yep. And it's like a percentage that it keeps track of, and the better you play, I think the more higher percentage you got. But we ended up jumping on Friday. I did get some great power level increases really quick, but then we had to finish that. So we ended up playing competitive until like, I don't know, 1 or 2 in the morning. A couple of us still needed to finish that milestone, and we're like, okay, let's just crash tonight and we'll play some Trials, Saturday or Sunday. And dude, we jumped in, and I gotta say, like, from what I heard from the clan on Friday when it launched, it was not super sweaty. We jumped in last night, and it was as sweaty as Destiny 1 ever thought about being. Like, it was super sweaty, dude. And I still had an absolute blast. But, we had a couple of our usual 3-man fire team, and we had, obviously it's 4 now, so 4 of us went in. We kind of were used to the way we played. We had some strategy, but I was trying to get used to the map because all I had seen was people play it on stream. But it was sweaty, dude. Like, I'm hoping to maybe jump back in a little bit tonight. But overall, I mean, it's Trials of the 9 now, and I enjoyed it. Trying to get, I've got that classic issue right now where I'm playing the power level grinds because you got to be 260 before you could enter. So that was my other challenge.
Yeah. Do you think that they should have given it like at least like a week heads up on that so people could get
that
ready?
Like, yeah, maybe. Well, they tweeted out after, right? So maybe, I mean,
like after
hey
the
guys,
fact.
you got to be 260 and finish the Call to Arms, because I definitely would have squeezed in some more PvP games throughout the week if if I would have.
Well, it was funny because like I know like Gathalion and Professor Broman
I was watching
hadn't done that stuff either.
Because
they were apparently
with
focusing
Crafty
on PvE and they couldn't even get in.
Yep.
And some people were saying, "Oh, you should have known," but it's like, well, I mean,
you don't know
100%. Like, you don't have
milestone.
to. You wouldn't think you had to do that to unlock a
you think
mode.
it would have just been maybe just a power level requirement, but not like to finish a milestone or something. Yeah. But I don't know, man. So, Trials was a good time. They've definitely made some changes. The lighthouse is called the Spire or something of that nature now.
Yeah.
Now, like you mentioned
the third
earlier,
Spire, right? Isn't that what it is?
It's only, I think that's right. Yeah. You only have to get 7 wins. You can still get 3 losses. There's no boons. You can get to the third Spire with 1 win, right? You can get to that social space.
1 win gets you there.
Each win after that, just like you mentioned earlier, it's a vendor there, so you get tokens with your wins, and
then I think you get rewards on 1, 3, 5, and 7, and then 7 flawless.
Yeah, and you still get legendary drops at the end of each game too. You can, you don't always.
Yeah, absolutely.
But, so that's nice too. Like
we were getting exotic drops actually.
Oh, nice.
The first night that we played, each one of us ended up with an exotic engram from matches. Cool. So it was fairly rewarding,
Yeah. So I did notice like your actual level didn't increase very much. So like I was like halfway through to a bright engram, and I like didn't even finish that playing Trials for like 2 to 3 hours.
Yeah.
So that's kind of weird. You don't get a lot of XP that way, but
it seems that playing the Crucible and doing strikes are a very inefficient way for experience and reputation. And I think that they need to look at that, because you get far more experience and rep if you're just doing like patrol activities than anything else in the game. So I think there needs to be a little more balance, because otherwise like there's not as much incentive beyond the fun of the activity that's there, but you want to feel equally rewarded for your time,
Yeah. And speaking of that, man, I'm still having a blast. I love the milestones, each week, and like just going out in the world, dude, and doing public events, and then getting all these different tokens to go turn in here or there. You go back to the tower after it's that classic after a couple hours of play.
Yeah,
you go back to the tower and it's like so much stuff before you go to bed, like all these rewards. It's like the best way to end the play session of the evening.
Oh, it's so smart. Give you that last bump before you get off for the night.
Yep. And I love, this is one thing that I asked for so many times in Destiny 1 was to give us something other than 5 motes. Just give us like a legendary engram when we level up each time, like a paragon level like you'd call in Diablo. And now we get that bright engram, which is really cool, dude. Like I feel like I almost want to spend some money on a particular shader that I like, but like I don't feel like I need to. Like every time I get one of those bright engrams, I'm like, yes, dude, I want to go see what I got. Like this is cool. I feel like they're frequent enough, especially if you pop some of those boosters. But anyways, Trials, dude. Yeah. So depending on what win you get, you can go there, which is cool. It's kind of more of a casual angle on it. Everybody gets to check out the social space if you just get a win, but then there's different, like
there's little
man cannons that will boost you to different platforms and different vendors depending on how many wins you get. And then ultimately like, it's wicked, dude. Like that place was wicked. It's
crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah, it is. I don't even know. Like when I was watching that on stream, I was
you're
like,
obviously on some kind of snowy, barren tundra with the shadow.
Somebody joked and said it was actually salt.
This is the salt mines.
I saw that somewhere. Yeah.
You're pretty close to another celestial body that you can see behind you. Whether I don't know if it's a moon or a planet. And then there's a black hole that you fly to, and you can also see that in the sky.
Yeah. Yep.
And
unknown space.
These emissaries, these agents of the Nine that apparently communicate through telepathy, because they don't move their lips.
Yeah.
It's weird, man. It's out there, but it
is.
It definitely,
it's like at the
peaks.
final one, like that huge vendor, and then like a unicorn in the background or whatever.
See, I haven't seen that yet. Is that literally what?
Yeah, dude. Like it's I'm sure this isn't like a spoiler to you or anything, but like the final one, you drop down in like a little teleporting black hole. Because you were talking about like flying into the map, right? The black hole. Yeah.
There's
so
like
you
a
drop down into like
that
this thing.
You go into, right?
Yeah. So I don't know, man. It's the whole art style. It's neat, man. And I gotta say, like I was gonna mention, the Trials like color scheme now is like almost identical to my logo colors. It's like a gray, black, and blue, like a light bright blue. And I'm like,
did you get some of the
yes,
shaders?
Please. Yes, I did get some of the shaders. Of course, I haven't, which we'll talk about in a minute. I haven't used any of them yet.
They look good, man.
Yeah, dude, it looks great. It's cool. I'm pleased with Trials. It definitely is weird. You know, we haven't been to the Lighthouse yet. I hope to report on that next weekend. But it's weird not having the boons. It's neat not having the boons. You know, they were an interesting thing anyways, but to not have a mercy, you know, not have that.
It raises the stakes a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Apparently, if you start a card, you can lose as many times in your first match until you get a win, and your card does not register a loss until your first win.
Okay, that makes sense, because we went back to reset at one point after losing, and it was still a fresh card,
which is smart. I mean,
sense.
It just eliminates that need
time
for you. So essentially what it is, you need 7 straight consecutive wins.
Okay.
And that makes a lot of sense. I mean, I was very pleased to see. I mean, we've sat here and we've talked about just how banal the whole system was, like the tokens, the boons, like it's like, just give us, if it's going to be 7 straight wins, like, and they even made it so you can reset the card in orbit
right there.
I mean,
they it seems like the theme of Destiny.
They thought about all the
like
quality of life.
Streamlined.
Yeah. It made it a lot simpler. But one thing we haven't talked about is that intro to every match.
Oh,
what
dude,
do you think of that?
So cool. I thought, okay, I'm watching it on stream and I'm like, you know, this is a little long.
It is.
But
it is.
It's really neat.
It's cool.
Like, it's really cool. Like, we laughed every time one of our fire team members' emote came up. I think it's really neat. I think if they can figure out a way, I don't know how they would do it, to shorten it a little bit, because I do even want to see the opposing team. Like, I don't just want to see our team.
Yeah, no,
so
I think it's great for seeing the opposing team.
Yeah. Yeah.
My idea was allow you to check off like an option that allows you to opt out of watching your video, so that if you match with another team that has selected that same option, when it goes to it, it just shows you the other team, and it would cut it in half.
Yeah, because you'd have to do like the whole thing, because, you know, the whole point is everyone's looking at the same person, so you can comment on it. So that's a good idea, because it is. I think it's awesome. Like, but when you're loading in, like we played 2-3 hours of stuff, it
takes some time in every match.
It does take up some time, but it is neat though to see all those emotes.
So
I'm like picking my emote so everybody can watch it as we load in.
What did you think of locked loadouts, countdown, the new map? Like, what are your thoughts on these? Those are some other major changes.
Yeah, the map's fantastic. It's very simplistic, very not a lot of clutter, all that. I'm sure, you know, everybody's heard that throughout the community. The locked loadouts, 100% love it. I'm absolutely all for it. I love that you have to make the decision before you go in, and that's what you're playing with until the game's over with. I'm super excited about it. It's like that. Is it like that in the Nightfall? I've yet to run a Nightfall. Do you know?
To be honest, I've done 2 of them, and I can't even remember, to be honest with you.
Can't remember. Because I haven't attempted it yet.
I think so.
Because I just hit the light where I've like 20 over the power level requirement, but everybody was telling me, like, don't do it yet. It's not. You need to be like 260 plus before you run it. But anyways, I love the lock loadout idea. I think it's fantastic. There was one other thing you mentioned. What was the third thing you mentioned? locked loadouts, the map, and
Countdown for Trials.
Oh yes, Countdown. I'm on the fence on Countdown. I absolutely love Countdown as a competitive game mode, but to have an actual point, like from the start of the round, objective based game mode in Trials is still something I'm on the fence about for Trials. I thought about it all week, started playing. It's like, okay, maybe this is okay, but to start with a different objective every other round, and then you got the whole quick plant strategy in place. You got Titans throwing up walls. I'm a Titan. There's two things we talked about this week. The fact that, it's basically, bomb plant and the power ammo. It's with Titan walls, dude. Like, I just throw a wall in front of the power ammo and just 100% secure at least one of them. If you run into 4 Titans, oh man. And it's
surprisingly, most people were running Hunter and Warlock. You didn't see very many Titans.
I think that we may see that change. Yeah. People still seem to be loving the Hunter in PvP. I didn't know if that was going to be the case or not. But I don't know, man. I feel like we were talking. We think maybe the timers need to be a little longer on the power ammo to promote some more gunplay before that power ammo comes out. And it's not too far off. But then again, right now I would prefer survival in Trials, I think. And I would love for them to bring elimination back into the rotation at some point. But I'm not fully against Countdown. I think it'll grow on me in Trials. Like I said, I love it in the competitive playlist, but I'm really digging some survival, dude. Like, I played many games queued up for me this week, and they were a lot of fun. Like, I'm really enjoying survival. So I don't know.
I like Countdown a lot. I thought it was a great start because Countdown is a little more accessible than survival. So I thought that was a good choice. I had a lot of fun playing it. I'm not as big of a fan of survival, so I'll probably still give it a shot next weekend, but I think that I will probably enjoy Countdown more when it's up. But I think it's a cool choice for the playlist, like for the game type to change. I think that's a fun aspect of things that will mix up. It definitely makes me more interested in playing Trials regularly because it's changing,
Yeah, no, definitely. I think like I said, I'm still on the fence with it. Something about Trials just makes me feel like it but it promotes like a kill-based game mode, like survival or elimination. Like, it should boil down to, who can kill the other team first. But with that said, I agree. Like, when I sit back and think about what you're saying,
Countdown,
I like it
that
switching
can still
up.
Happen.
Yeah.
Like, you can totally play Countdown like elimination if you want to.
The problem is, though, every other round just turns into, like, we very quickly just went to the quick plant strat. You get that bomb planted, that is such a distraction. You have plenty of time to defuse it, but it's such a distraction that you really got to have your composure together as a team to not just run in one at a time and get, team shot and pegged off trying to get to that point. But again, you have a really good point. We would probably we played elimination for 2 years. So, for a different type of game mode to come up, every 2 or 3 weekends that's a good thing. It mixes it up. It allows people to have different play styles and maybe jump in on the weekend of the game mode that they like. Yeah. So
definitely.
Yeah. It's fun though, man.
Well, I had a good time. Our first card, we went 7-1.
Nice.
So we got some good gear, Then we had to swap a player out. Loot. Things got really sweaty because it got late. It got tough. We had some fun games though, some comebacks, and I think Mida is pretty much all you're seeing. So there's a lot of you got to be team shotting, got to reset your position a lot. It's a different game. It's a whole. It
is different, dude. I've got the Nightshade pulse rifle that we had in the beta, and I'm really enjoying. I learned very quickly that it doesn't have enough range for that map. I've got the Last Hope sidearm, which is all over the place right now in Crucible. Yeah, I got that to drop like right before we started.
I don't have one, but it's good.
Yeah. And then it's amazing to me. I watched a bunch of like Crucible players' YouTube channels, like some of their videos today, and it's amazing how many are running around with auto rifles, and it's a cool thing, man. Like there's a couple top tier ones right now, like you said, Mida, and there's an auto rifle or two out there, but it's neat to see where the Crucible's starting at. It's pretty diverse. But yeah, Mida was everywhere. People jumped on that very quickly. I've got to finish the quest to get that thing still. But yeah, it's a good time, man. I can't wait to jump in some more. I love trials, but I really want to try and jump in the raid within the next week or two.
Do it, man. It's a lot of fun.
Experience that. Yeah,
it's a lot of fun.
I was gonna mention too, dude. I thought about it throughout the week. We were talking about the story last week, dude. Did you realize? I meant to mention this towards the end of the campaign. And we can't really say our theme song, but the portion of the music of Destiny 1 that we used for the podcast, like they used at some mission towards the end of the story.
They worked
dude, it was so cool,
theme
man.
into it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I just wonder if some people that listen to the podcast heard that. And then just in general, I loved that they used some of the old soundtrack in the story of the sequel. And
continuing
I don't know,
those
man.
themes,
Yeah, and I just had some like afterthoughts last week after the show. Like, I love where Destiny 2 like left us, man. Like, we kind of touched on some of that, but it seems like such a bright, light, like fantastic place with the Traveler like up there, like all reawakened and
yeah, no, I
don't know, man.
I get the same feeling. Like it leaves the player and the story in a more positive place, it feels like, because like you said, like the Traveler has awoken, like that's a big deal. The social space of the tower itself, or the wall, or whatever it is that we're going to call it, is bright, and it like they changed the aspect of what you're looking at in the vista, like the proximity or the size of the Traveler in the city. You're a lot closer to everything, and I like that. Like the skybox is beautiful, but you're like you feel like you're part of that, and you're close to it. And I totally get the atmosphere that you're describing. I like it. And then cool. the soundtrack when you're in the tower as well. Like I mentioned last week, that one song that I like that plays, and it's just like really epic and, feel good, like makes you feel like you're the victor, It's really cool.
It's neat, yeah. Yeah. I've been listening to the soundtrack all week, man.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like stuck on certain tracks right now. But it's fantastic, dude. Anyways, man, I went on and on there. That's my reset. Some additional thoughts.
Awesome, man.
So
fun reset, man. There's there's still so much to play in this game, and I'm having a blast. Everybody has their criticisms and are liking different things, disliking some things, but overall, I'm having a fabulous time, and I can't wait to just see how the next month, 2 months, 3 months goes, and how things kind of unfold. It's going to be a fun year.
Yep. I can't wait, man.
All right.
Can't wait.
Well, how about some Dirt Fam discourse?
Yeah, dude. That sounds like a plan. We got a couple of speak pipes this week.
We do. We've got a speak pipe from new clan leader. Got to give a shout out. We opened up a new PS4 clan, which I think is called Destiny Reset Silver right now. And Miss Got Turkey has taken the helm over there. Yes. She's going to do a great job. She sent us a speak pipe this week. Let's take a listen.
Hey Derp fam, it's Got Turkey. I just want to let you guys know how awesome you are. We got hit with the feels last week with the Derp Taj, and then for those of us that played D1 at the beginning of Destiny 2, we had those special opening credits. And all those faces and all the names I saw just brought back all these memories of going through everything with the Derp fam for the past few years, and I'm just really happy to be a part of this group. You guys are all amazing. So I'm excited to see what Destiny 2 brings us. So keep doing what you're doing. Don't eat pineapple pizza or wear jorts. And I'll see you at the farm. Gobble, gobble.
God Turkey, thank you so much for the speak pipe, the shout outs. Love the Dirt Fam shout outs. Those are always welcome.
Those feels.
Yes, those feels. Feels are always welcome. As you know, this segment used to be called the Dirt
That's
Fam
right.
Feels. So, yes.
All right, next up, we've got one from our buddy. I'm the Blue Ranger. Don't worry, he'll be back on the show soon, but he left a speak pipe about something we talked about last week. Let's take a listen.
And take 6. Hey guys, what's going on? I'm the Blue Ranger. Real quick, we're talking shaders. I thought that there was some stuff skipped over, so I'm going to do my best to share my part within 90 seconds. So I like that you can put shaders on every individual piece of gear, including weapons, ships, and sparrows. I think that's all great. The problem is that even though I am getting a ton of these things, and I have a collection of like 60 different ones, the ones that I don't care about are the ones that I'm getting a ton of. Like Cyborg had said, he got 24 of one of them. I've got piles up to 40, but the ones that I really like, I'm only getting 2 or 3 of, and that's not even enough to do an entire set of armor. And so my issue becomes more or less this. Like Cyborg said, I'm holding on to these things until I have something I know that I like, which so far I have found one thing, that Hawthorne shotgun. And other than that, I don't know what to use these things on. And I don't even have enough to do what I want to do with them, and it stinks. And the thing that I think gets glossed over here is that you guys said if this is the biggest complaint we have about the game, then we're okay. But then in the same segment, you said that Luke Smith said that one of the main components of Destiny is being able to customize, and I don't feel as if I can customize because I don't have enough of the shaders. It seems like there is some sort of failure to communicate and a poor breakdown of this whole program concept in the game. I don't know. I'd love to talk more about it, but I only got 2 seconds. Thanks for having me. Bye.
All right, buddy. Yes, we did hint on this last week, and definitely plenty. We can talk about this plenty more. I put in quite a bit more playtime, but this time last week I hadn't even really experienced some of that shader stuff, so I will say now, being where I'm at in the game, it is, I'm still not annoyed by it, but I definitely see more of the other angle of it. Like here's my main thing. It drops frequently if you're hunting a specific one, because of course I instantly started looking for one that was, matching my logo, this or that. Now I've applied it to the gear that I have. Mm-hmm. But now I'm thinking to myself, if I want, it's the classic thing. If I have another piece of gear I like, I have to go find it again. That's the whole argument. Right. But it's kind of I don't know, man. It doesn't really super bother me, but it's where, I'm starting to stack it because I know I like these particular ones, and it is weird to me that I can't, once I apply it to a certain set of gear, I can't save it to that gear, right? Or will that work? It will, as long as I don't apply another one. Yeah,
it'll always be on there.
It'll stay.
But
so
if you,
that's the
let's
kicker.
Say you raise in
if I
power,
switch,
or you get a different piece of gear, you either have to infuse that one up to keep the shader one, or get another shader, and they don't make it clear where you get some of these shaders. I'm not paying attention every time where I get it from, so it'd be nice if it said, obtainable in the EDZ or from strikes or, whatever. That would be helpful.
Yeah, because there's 2 blue ones that I like. One of them is being sold at Eververse right now, and that's actually what I thought about this week after Blue Ranger sent us a speak pipe. Is okay, I have this gear that I like now, and I have my setup as of right now. I've applied all this particular blue gear that I like about it. This is the one that I like. So if I go buy this one from Eververse and apply it to my favorite gear pieces right now, then I just flat out lose what I already applied. So maybe the solution is, I don't know how they would do it. Maybe the solution is it remembers the shaders you've applied, and you can, any shader you've applied to a piece of gear, you can reapply. I don't know. I definitely get it. I've played enough now to, I understand. It still doesn't super bother me. But again, I don't know. I have a favorite already, and I don't know where I go to get more of it. So I get that.
How do you build more? How do you build a stock of these, right?
I feel like Blue Ranger's bringing this back up. I feel like the attention this is getting, even with Luke Smith's comment about how they're feeling about shaders, if it continues, I mean, Bungie's usually really good about adjusting something if they feel like their decision wasn't maybe the correct angle to take on it. But I mean, he seemed pretty adamant about his tweet. I mean, he was quick to respond. So I don't know if we'll see anything.
We will see.
But yeah. But what do you think? You're fine with it? You're kind of
I think it needs some work.
You'd rather not?
I think it needs some work. I'm not.
Yeah. It's weird that usually something like this would like annoy us. It doesn't. It's weird. It doesn't like.
It's one
crazy
small
bother
thing,
me.
and it's like we said, and Blue brought up. He said, "Well, if that's the only thing," but it does impact your gameplay experience. But it is to me still one small thing among a large amount of great things. And I'm just gonna be patient about it and see if they hear our feedback.
He's right. Deserves some attention.
Yeah, I think
it's definitely a topic in the community. So
all right.
Cool.
Do we have any
Thanks,
new
Blue.
patrons this week?
We do. Yes, we got to give a shout out to Mint Shows and CSI Lloyd. Thank you guys so much.
Nice. Thanks for patronizing us.
Support. Yes.
If you want to become a patron, you can go to patreon.com/Destiny Reset. And folks that are our patrons contribute as little as $1 a month to the production of the show, and it helps pay for things like maintaining like the back end, like the website and hosting and just different stuff like that. And also goes into our budget so we can procure better gear or software, things like that. So ultimately it goes towards the show. So if you'd like to support us, please do. And there's also a way, if you don't want to do that on a monthly basis and you would just like to send us a tip, then you can do so through PayPal, right? How do they do that?
You can go to the website, www.destinyresetpodcast.com, and right next to the Patreon logo, there is a PayPal logo. You click on that, and you can send us some support. And we got to say, too, if you haven't heard your shout out on the show and you feel like you should have already, don't forget to go check your Patreon website messages. We like to just confirm your gamer tag.
Yeah, we're not going to read your full name
out
on a podcast without your permission.
Yes. even if you signed up with your gamer tag, we like to confirm that is your gamer tag because we want to give you a proper shout out.
Absolutely.
So please do that.
All right. Well, let's wrap this thing up, man.
Yeah.
Where can people find you?
You can find me on Twitter at the AER0KNIGHT, and YouTube and Twitch it is AER0KNIGHT. And Trials is back. I didn't stream this weekend, but I'm planning to get back on the Friday, Monday Trials stream rotation.
Awesome.
Can't wait. So what about you, dude?
Celine Dion. You can find me at CyborgSasquatch on Twitter and Twitch. I did stream some this week. Great news. I finally have my new ISP.
Yes. Congrats.
Oh my gosh. I was literally down for a month. I couldn't stream. And it killed my momentum. I felt
your pain.
But I am, now that Destiny 2 is launched and my ISP is good again, I'm going back to our normal schedule. So you can find me Tuesday, Wednesday, and Saturday nights at a minimum streaming on Twitch. Also, if you're a subscriber, I have emotes live. Go check them out. This is a great month. If you want to sub to somebody, you can do it for half off because it's September.
So
Twitch is giving everybody half off on subscriptions. So that's pretty cool. Go sub to your favorite content creators. Not me or anybody in specific. Just go throw them a sub this month. It'll be awesome.
Very cool.
All right. Finally, you can find us at Destiny Reset at Destiny Reset on Twitter, or www.destinyresetpodcast.com. That's your source for all things DRP, including links to the show if you want to listen and subscribe, and to all the other little outlets that you can try to find us. Just go to the website.
Yes, please do. We got some iTunes reviews this week. You want to help me with this first one?
Denumday? Denumde?
Yes, dude. And Scooter Girl 57. Thank you guys so much. Really cool. Got some Derp Fam mentions in these reviews in the community. You guys are just being a part of out there, and it's really cool to get that stuff and hear how awesome people think the Derp Fam is. So thank you so much for the reviews, and thank you to everyone for being so awesome to each other.
Indeed.
Yes, dude, it's time to go
play some Trials, dude.
Too. Right? Let's do it. Until next week, have fun playing Destiny, and take care, Guardians.